Alright, here we go again. We're officially halfway through the year, and the last 2 months have been busy. It feels like there's been a major comeback every other day through April and May. Now it's time for me to spew out my thoughts on every single one. So let's just get into it. NewJeans kicked off April with their promotional single for Coke Zero. On first listen, I thought this song actually fit into their discography quite nicely. The verses are very NewJeans and the pre-chorus is super catchy. But then the chorus hits. I feel like I'm being entered into a cult of Coca-Cola. Not that I'd necessarily have a problem with that, but I am a Diet Coke person, and I'm not sure I can continue to support NewJeans knowing they're advocates for Coke Zero, same great taste, zero sugar. In other news, how come no one told me Tempest was this good? This song is awesome. It really feels like something from the height of third-gen boy groups. I'm not such a huge fan of the pre-chorus, but damn, that chorus is exceptional. It's not too repetitive while still being really catchy. The melody and harmonies are great, especially in the post-chorus. I think my only complaint, other than the pre-chorus, would be the rap in the bridge. It's not a bad rap, and the other raps in the song are also really solid, but I just don't think it fits in here. I think it really breaks up the flow of the bridge, and makes the final chorus a little less impactful. But other than that, I really love this song. It's so nostalgic and fun. Definitely one of my favorites of April. Actually, a lot of my favorite boy group releases have come from smaller boy groups like Tempest, including my favorite boy group song of the whole year, that I'll talk about later. But even though a lot of bigger boy groups have been kinda disappointing, there's one that really pulled it out of the bag this May. Just go kiss me and bite me. While Tempest took it back to third gen, Enhypen went back even further. Bite Me is dripping in second-gen atmosphere from start to finish, especially with the inclusion of the female dancers. It's been so damn long since we saw something like this in Kpop, and I'm really glad IVE haven't backed down to the protests to remove it. Enhypen really is at their best when they do darker songs. As much as I love Tame Dashed and Paradox Invasion, they absolutely shine in songs like this. Bite Me starts with an empty echoing version of the chorus, which instantly pulls you in. For me, the highlight is the pre-chorus though. The oh my gods are addictive, I would happily listen to it on loop. But nothing is without flaws, and Bite Me has a big one. Just come over and bite me. Come here and get some. I really can't stand this. It's giving NCT 127, two baddies, in the worst possible way. Two baddies, one Porsche. I'm really not a fan of this kind of chanty chorus, and I actually skipped through it the first time I listened to it. Thankfully, the second part of the chorus is miles better. Very melodic, great instrumental, great choreo, but I really can't stand that first part of the chorus. Overall, I'm just glad Enhypen have returned to their vampire concept, and I really hope they continue with this type of music and concept, because I have no doubt they'll flourish with it. Speaking of darker concepts, let's talk about Card. I'll admit I didn't really enjoy Without You, from April, so I was relieved to find out it was only a pre-release. Icky is much better. The chorus is an earworm that I can't even be annoyed to have because it's so good. J-Seph's rap flows nicely from the chorus and fits into the song great, but BM's just doesn't. It's a total switch in the flow and instrumental, and I just can't get into it. On the plus side, the lyrics are fucking genius. Listen up, ice cream and cookie. This is how you make a song that's a euphemism for sex. Although just looking at the music video, you'd never guess that's what the song was actually talking about. I know there's a story going on in here, but I don't really get it. Which is fine, because the horror fan in me is just excited by all the references to The Shining and the Backrooms. Icky isn't my favorite song by them, not by far, but it was worth the long wait. This is definitely one of the catchiest songs I've heard in a long time, and I've had it playing on repeat for a month. Her vocals are great, especially in the bridge, and she makes that choreo in the last chorus look insanely easy. I can't tell you how many of the TikTok challenges I've watched, especially the hard versions, because they're so fucking hypnotizing. It's not surprising that she had to simplify the challenge so much for everyone else, though. Those of us with no rhythm didn't stand a chance. I can tell she's really come into herself as a soloist with this song. If she continues with this style of music, keeps showing her talent and natural charisma, I don't see any reason why she couldn't become a top soloist. Crazy like that, very. I only really have one thing to say about this song. Holy shit, what is up with that chorus? I don't even like the rest of the song, but I swear they've laced this chorus with something, because I'm addicted. Never before have I sat through an entire song that I hate just for one line. That's it, that's all I have to say. Just wanted to share my experience. Moving on. Not really sure about this one, guys. I really wanted to love it, because I love Oneus, but I don't know. They lost one of their most important members and it really shows, and that's without mentioning the cruel irony of the title. There are a lot of little things I like in it, like the strings in the dance break, and Xian's lines in the second verse. But as a whole, I can't get on board. It needed more. As devastated as I am to see Oneus succumb to the 6-member curse, I'm confident they can pull it back together. Erase Me isn't the only song that I'm a bit iffy about though. You make me giddy, 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 giddy all day. Giddy is definitely one of Kep1er's better songs, and I do quite like it, but it's nothing new, nothing special. I feel like I've heard the very same song from a dozen of other groups. A group like Kep1er should be able to deliver more than a generic song over a year into their careers. It's not a bad song, but much like Kep1er's entire career so far, it's just not enough. And there's no way it could ever be able to compete with some of the gems the last 2 months have given us. One such gem being Dreamcatcher's Voyage. Hold up, I can't move on to Dreamcatcher before I talk about the end of Giddy, because what the fuck?
Hold up, wait a minute.
I have so many questions. Most pertinently, why? Is it part of their lore? Is Yesio Kronos? What the fuck? Anyway, Dreamcatcher. I know a lot of people were quite torn about this song, and some just outright didn't like it, but I would like to stand in its corner and say, this song is actually amazing. After Maison and Vision, Voyage feels like a true return to everything that made Dreamcatcher great in the first place. Well, everything but a creepy music video, but I can live without. There's nothing particularly noteworthy about the verses, and I'm devastated there wasn't a proper rap verse for Dammy, but the pre-chorus and chorus more than make up for it. The pre-chorus is a beautiful guitar-based melody that makes the song feel more like a ballad than anything else, only to be hit with one of the most explosive choruses I've ever heard from Dreamcatcher. This intense, rocky chorus is exactly what Dreamcatcher do best. As much as I'm praising it, I still prefer their special song, Reason, from earlier this year, but I'm still a big fan of Voyage. Following the announcement that BABYMONSTER would in fact be debuting as a 7-member group, which was definitely a total surprise that no one could have ever predicted, we have our very first song from BABYMONSTER. I don't really like it, simply because I, personally, don't really like these kinds of slower songs. But I couldn't not talk about it and ignore how incredible it is for a pre-debut group to get 40 million views on a song. I never watched their series, so this was the first time I've gotten to hear their vocals, which are impressive. I'm looking forward for what they'll show us with their debut. On the topic of debuts, Hybe's new boy group is finally here. Of course, they're continuing their tradition of giving every song a music video, so we're gonna go over all 3. First, One and Only.
Listen, I'm the one and only.
The verses had a ton of potential, and the pre-chorus had such amazing build-up. I was fully prepared and excited for a fun, bouncy chorus, but no. It's not awful, and it does improve when the instrumental picks up, but it still could have been so much better. I can't understand why they chose this song for the title track when compared with the other 2 songs on the album. While I love the verses and pre-chorus of One and Only, Serenade is the total opposite. The verses of Serenade are really forgettable, bordering on boring. And the pre-chorus is a little lackluster, but the chorus is great. It's exactly what I wanted and was expecting from One and Only. While I prefer Serenade to One and Only, it's still not as good as, But I Like You. I love this song. We'd be here all day if I were to name all the things I love about it, but I'll name a few. 1. The intro. That guitar playing as they sit around telling their little stories is so genuine and heartwarming. 2. The chorus. I don't think any other song this year has made me smile as much as this chorus. It's fun and lively, perfectly playing into their youthful spirits, and it's got a great choreo to go along with it. 3. The music video and lyrics. This one isn't just reserved for But I Like You though, because all of these songs have great lyrics, and bright nostalgic music videos. If I had it my way, But I Like You would have been their official debut song, but I'm just glad to have the song anyway. These kids clearly have a lot of potential, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they'll accomplish going forward. Alright, I'll be honest, not a big fan of aespa. Their music just really isn't my kind of thing. I can count the number of songs I like from them on 2 fingers. Black Mamba, and illusion. So I was fully expecting to not like this comeback either. Especially when it seemed like they were totally changing their concept, something that never goes well. I was right at first. I really didn't like Welcome to My World, and my expectations were at rock bottom. Then the track video for I'm Unhappy was released. I can't explain why, but it really got me, and I was enthralled. Next there was Salty and Sweet, which was spectacular. 'Cause I am salty and sweet. By then I didn't think the title track was going to be able to top it. It wouldn't be the first time SM fucked up and chose the wrong song for the title. And yet, 'cause I'm too spicy for your heart. I know a lot of people still prefer Salty and Sweet, but I think Spicy was definitely the right choice for the title. When groups have switched up their concept in the past, it's usually led to a change in the style of their music too, which inevitably pushes long-term fans away. But aespa have absolutely nailed it. They've shown a different side of themselves with a brighter, more realistic concept in the music video, while still keeping that EDM sound that I've come to associate with them. It's amazing how much Spicy still feels like a classic aespa song while having a totally different concept. They still added a bit of a poppier sound in the post-chorus that I don't really like, but overall, I think this is an incredibly strong comeback after such a long break. I can now confidently add 3 more aespa songs to my like list, but not Welcome to My World. Fuck that song. Remember that song I mentioned earlier? A lot of my favorite boy group releases have come from smaller boy groups like Tempest, including my favorite boy group song of the whole year, that I'll talk about later. Well, now it's time to talk about it. Let me introduce you to Blitzers. I'm willing to bet most of you aren't familiar with this group because before this song, I had never heard of them either. If I haven't made it clear already, I absolutely love this song. It's one of the most unique songs I've heard in a while, especially among boy groups. I mean, just listen to this. When was the last time you heard trumpets like this in a K-pop song? And have I mentioned it's about zombies? I love zombie concepts in K-pop, they're always so damn fun, and this has to be one of the best. Of course, like I said before, no song is without flaws. The bridge could have been way better. It's basically just some repetitive shouting for 30 seconds, which gets a bit annoying. And there's this voice in the chorus that I can only assume is the voice of Satan, that totally sullies the great instrumental. But seeing them doing the actual Macarena in the choreo makes me feel 10 years old again, and I forget everything that I don't like about it. I really do love this song, I can't recommend it enough. I'll definitely be checking out what else Blitzers have to offer. Unforgiven. Hybe's desperate attempt at a follow-up to Anti-Fragile, complete with an abundance of denim. As it's been said by many others, Unforgiven doesn't come close to its predecessor. But that doesn't mean it's bad, not by far. This shit is ridiculously catchy, from start to finish. I'm absolutely obsessed with the way that Kazuha says all of her lines in this song. There's so much attitude in the way she sings that makes the song so much more exciting to listen to. I'm still not that huge of a fan of the first part of the chorus. Like I've said before, it's just not my kind of thing, but the second part of the chorus is great. It's lively and fun, and the choreo to go with it is amazing. My only problem is the music video. I like the cowboy scenes, but the individual shots of the members feel a little out of place. Like this one of Kazuha that is really jarring, especially with no eventual explanation in the MV. But it's really a minor flaw in an otherwise solid song. I have other bigger problems with the album as a whole. Mainly, that it was a bit of a scam to even call it an album when we only got 6 new songs, 3 of which were kind of forgettable in my opinion. But there is one in particular that stands out. Yeah, me too. Aside from being the most confusing title I've ever seen from a K-pop song, Eve's Psyche and the Bluebeard's Wife could have easily been a title track of its own. I was genuinely surprised that I loved this as much as I do, because it's definitely not the kind of song I usually enjoy. But this song is hypnotic. The 2 hooks are both incredibly catchy, and their vocals match the tone of the song really well. The ending was a little goofy, and it could have had a more explosive final chorus, but still, this perfectly shows their style and is great display of the kind of idols they are. I-dle are back, being unapologetically feminine. At this point I could make an entire video about how I-dle have reclaimed the color pink, but that's definitely a discussion for another day. Queen Card is a little different to their last few songs, which have been a lot heavier, both in their sound and their story. But Queen Card is no less of a great song to add to their repertoire. It's a much lighter song, perfect for the summer season. Of course a lot of criticism has been levied towards Chaeyeon's lyrics in this song, and yeah, I have to agree that the English is a little cringe. But I'm willing to bet every one of you is still screaming along to it no matter how cringe it is. Even if the grammar is an absolute abomination, what they're actually saying is insane. Seriously, the last time a girl group was this bold with their lyrics and choreo was back in the second gen. As a woman, I'm proud. As a bisexual, I'm struggling. But to only talk about Queen Card would only be talking about one part of this comeback, and we have to talk about the other part. Allergy, the pre-release for this comeback, and the prequel to the story of Queen Card. I think I may actually prefer Allergy to Queen Card. Of course I know that Allergy could never have been a title track, but it is an incredibly strong song. I love the melodies in the chorus, and the members give an excellent vocal performance throughout. I'm also a little obsessed with the la la la's at the end. But I wish they had used it as a bridge, like in Tomboy, instead of just to end the song, but it's good nonetheless. And the lyrics in Allergy are way better. Mostly. But where Allergy truly shines is in music video. It genuinely almost brought me to tears the first time I watched it. The story itself is one we've seen many times over in every form of media. Personally, I've always found the "love yourself the way you are" messages to be a little condescending and hypocritical coming from people who are as beautiful and successful as I-dle. But there's another layer to the story that doesn't really get talked about as much. Of course, we see Chaeyeon wishing that she was like the other girls. Because they're so pretty and lovely, and they have everything. But actually, these perfect girls are just as miserable, just as desperate to be someone else, as Chaeyeon is. The idea of pretty girls being just as insecure and unhappy as everyone else isn't something that really gets talked about a lot, and I think it was a great detail to add to such a powerful song. While I-dle undeniably owned May, it was another girl group that dominated April. Ever since their debut, IVE have been faced with an assault of criticism. Some justified, most not. Feels like a deliberate smackback at everything. They are proudly declaring how talented they are, proudly taking a stand against the criticism, and damn well proving a lot of it wrong. Normally I'd say April is too early to call Song of the Year, but I'd be goddamn surprised if this isn't one of the top contenders. Their vocals shine in every single second of this song. At a time where Kpop is so oversaturated with repetitive, monotonous choruses, I Am is a breath of fresh air. The pre-chorus and chorus are incredible, with more grandeur than I've heard in Kpop for a long time. Gaeul's rap is easily the best I've rapped so far, she absolutely shines. But the highlight for me is undeniably the bridge. 1, 2, 3, Much like what I was saying earlier about rap verses not really adding to Kpop songs, I think a lot of bridges suffer that fate too. So many are very forgettable, and just to the bare minimum of leading you to the final chorus. It's rare to find a bridge that can not only get you excited for the final chorus, but is memorable in its own right. I Am's bridge is definitely one of them. It's impactful and catchy, and genuinely the best part of the song, which is saying a lot when the rest of the song is so strong. And of course I can't let this song pass without talking about one little thing. Never again will any Kpop fan be able to listen to this song without picturing Wonyoung crashing to the ground. I Am has to be one of the most impressive comebacks of the year, and they are showing no signs of slowing down. If anyone deserves to stand on the big stage, it's IVE. Before we finish, I just want to say a massive thank you to you all. The last time I made a month-end review, back in March, this channel barely had 100 subscribers. Now there are almost 1,700 of you. I know it doesn't sound very sincere coming from a robotic voice, but it really does mean more to me than I can say. Thank you all so much. Let me know what your favorite songs of April and May were, and I'll see you all next time.